full season of being out from an ACL injury. He's going to be better. I think you got pieces on both sides. Again, the best thing to build or to add to a team is through the draft. But I thought number one, you guys need another receiver on the other side. I think that would open up not just the offense, but I really think that would open up Dak's game.
Yeah, I mean, in everyone's eyes,
always trying to attack one player.
In everyone's eyes, but Adam, CD is a number one receiver, and has proved himself to be a top 3, top 5 receiver in the league.
Right.
But if they can get another weapon that they can put next to CD or on the other side of CD that doesn't necessarily take all the eyes off CD, because he's still, like I said, a top 5. But if they can get less of the attention on CD, I think the offense is going to thrive. And like you said, they did miss the injury bug did hit them with a lot of their starters. Because even like early in the year, Parsons was out for 4 weeks. DeMarcus Lawrence was out for a while. I think he's another free agent. And I don't know if they have the money to bring him back. Trayvon and Bland were both out for a good chunk of time. Mm-hmm. And then Dak obviously missed the last half of the season. So, if they can get another weapon for Dak, get, a second or third round running back and plug some holes on the defensive line, I think they're going to have a competitive year next.
Maybe look for a middle linebacker, because I'm sorry, but Kendricks is not going to be the answer.
Are you ready, Keegan? Are you ready? Are you ready to do it? Are you ready?
Ready for what?
Are you ready?
Well,
Adam rides his ass about how he just needs to take one of the best pass rushers when rushing the passer is more important than playing linebacker in today's league, and just put Parsons back at Mike linebacker. That's going to solve all his problems. It's like, no, you need to be able to actually stop the fucking run up front is what you need to do.
I say,
he'll tell him, are you ready? You ready to put him in middle linebacker?
You think the Cowboys pick up a quarterback like second, third round?
A quarterback?
Second, third round?
I think they give Dak a second contract.
No. I'm not saying to replace him. I'm saying to bring someone in just in case,
not this season. Well. Not this season, because I think in the long.
Yeah, go ahead.
In the long term, I think the play is ultimately Arch Manning. For whatever reason.
Start tanking, baby. Start tanking.
They tank because he's what? He's not next season. He's the season after that. Is that when he's?
I think technically he can come out next season, but he'll probably play. He'll probably come out as a junior.
Because Dak is in his. I think he signed a 4-year, 5-year deal. So they take Arch in the next. This is just my conspiracy theory. They take Arch, let him sit behind Dak for the first season, kind of like Jordan Love and Aaron Rodgers, and then just give the reins to Manning. But no, I don't think they take a quarterback this draft.
So do you think they would? Because perennially Dallas is never like top of the leaderboard for the number one pick. So you think they would package picks and players to go get that number one pick and get Arch Manning? Is that what you're saying?
If they're not there with that pick, then yeah, I think they do package some picks up, trade. I don't know.
Because the Mannings are known for like, oh, we ain't going to like the Browns or we ain't going to like Jacksonville. We going to New York. We going. Okay, that makes sense from their family and.
I think it is. It'd have to be they'd have to trade because, like you said, I don't think they're gonna have the number one pick. I think the highest I've seen them have was 16 when they had the 4th overall, I think, and they took Zeke. But yeah, they would have to throw some picks in and make a trade to trade up. Like you said, I don't think they're gonna have the number. But even still, I like that. They don't start him right early.
I like that hot pick down the road. It's like no. We might package something for a little Arch Manning down the road.
Listen, especially if you don't get a fucking chip the next couple of years, baby. It's like, how long do you keep building and keeping now quarterback? You could play a long time as a quarterback and you can win championships late, but it's like when you're getting paid that much, it's kind of like you gotta show me. We gotta get there if we're paying guys like that money. You know
exactly.
What I'm saying?
Remember the Colin Cowherd, his thing was like, hey, I would do quarterback year 1, year 2, year 3 to get the one that that actually gonna play.
He says that, and so
like, why wouldn't you?
He says that.
It's not wrong. It's giving up a lot, but it's not wrong.
I wouldn't get that wild, but you should always be looking ahead. Like, and it's so funny. Adam and I will talk about this. Like, Adam's like, I don't get it. Everyone's just going after these quarterbacks. I don't get it, and all this other stuff, and blah blah blah, and then they don't work out. And I'm like, but you act like as if quarterback's the only position where they're sleepers or there's dudes we thought were good that don't pan out. That happens at every fucking position. You gotta know, you gotta scout well, and you gotta make an educated guess on who's the guy. Like, do you remember? You remember the conversation I had with you when the Bears skipped over Patrick Mahomes back in the day, and I was saying how like you would have to sedate and or kill me if I was in that Bears war room. If I even heard someone say that they were going to take Mitch Trubisky over Deshaun Watson at that time, because he was one of the top 5 best quarterbacks in the league until he had all his shit, or Mahomes, I would have broken someone's fucking hand if they would have went for that phone and said, I would have hurt somebody if I was one of those scouts, or if I was helping make those decisions. I'd be like, we're like fighting if you want this phone. Like, you've got to really do the work and make a serious educated guess. And that's all that it really is. Like, and I tell you what, is I actually like Jalen Hurts. And Jalen Hurts, going back to tying this in, he has overachieved how good he was in college. He played on really good football teams in college with really good offensive coordinators, and it drove his draft stock up. And he actually got drafted in the 2nd round. I'm a firm believer that most of the hype that was built up around Jalen Hurts was just that. I think people liked him. People love college football. He's not an elite quarterback, but that drove his draft stock up, and it turns out he ended up being a pretty good quarterback. So you got the like the people out there, the college football fans that try to be like, see, I told you about Jalen Hurts. It's like there was no indications that he was as good as a prospect as like a Lamar Jackson or like a Burrow or a Mahomes or Deshaun Watson. He was nowhere near that tier as a prospect. You just happened to love him a lot, and then he ended up being good. It's like, so you could sit there and tell me you told me so. Like, you weren't doing any fucking breakdown and analysis. You were just watching him play for good teams and going, Jalen Hurts. It's like,
also remember also with Jalen Hurts, he was at Alabama. They brought Tua in, and then Tua became the starter. So then, bam, he goes over to Oklahoma. But everywhere he's been, he's able to go to the next level. So remember when he came into that draft, he was doing all the combine throws and all that stuff with all the other quarterbacks and wide receivers, which if you're a high-level quarterback, you don't do any of that stuff. So remember, we're able to see him. And remember, Adam, give Adam some credit, but just like out of that second tier of group of quarterbacks, I was like, I actually like Jalen Hurts because everywhere he goes, he builds on top of what he does. He keeps building up.
Hold on
Good
a second,
quarterback.
though.
So remember, he went. Yes.
I can't give him that much credit because going back to what I was saying is Adam was sitting there telling me I would take Jalen Hurts #1 overall if I was a team that needed a quarterback.
Okay. That's
and I'm
wrong.
like, there's nothing in his college game tape that tells me he's the #1 overall pick. Now he's got a Super Bowl, so Philly fans and all the dudes that love college football can sit around and say, like, I told you so and all that bullshit. But let me tell you something.
No.
Are you taking Jalen Hurts to for your final game in a fucking Super Bowl? If you could choose from all the quarterbacks in the league, are you fucking taking Jalen Hurts? Probably not. There's like 7 or 8 guys I'm taking over him.
No, because there's deficiencies. Not to really break down his game, he's more like a Russell Wilson. He likes to go up top. He doesn't like to do over the middle, underneath stuff. Again, you saw in the game where he was actually trying to go to A.J. Brown over the top into the corner. He got hit, threw it short, got the pick. The problem is those are his kind of plays. The touchdown to A.J. Brown was an over-the-top play. He himself, it likes only certain types of plays or certain types of setups. That's what's kind of weird about KC. They wanted to do one-on-one shit, so then it allowed Kellen Moore to do, hey, let's go over the top, one-on-one, we'll get the matchup, Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, and that's what they did. And they did that in short field, which is so weird by KC. That's the problem, because
I like the ambiance.
Hurts is a little deficient. Now, so not to veer off on a tangent, I liked him as a prospect,
as a football player,
to be in to be someplace where he could be a backup, develop. Carson Wentz, he goes to the Eagles. I'm like, yo, that's perfect. Carson Wentz is the guy. He doesn't, and like some Eagles fans were kind of weirded out by it. And I was like, no, that's perfect. This dude, everywhere he's gone, he's slowly elevated his game up. I think it's good. He gets to develop behind someone that's actually a really good starter. Obviously, Carson Wentz fell off after his first year. I mean, his first year.
The Chiefs should have thrown in. They should have thrown Wentz in last night.
Yeah, I mean, fuck it. I mean, if you're throwing caution to the wind, I mean, fucking Mahomes was playing like trash. It's like, yeah, maybe we get a spark from the old Carson Wentz. Maybe he can make something happen. But I thought that was a perfect situation for Hurts. But in no fucking way am I taking #1. I mean, out of that draft and who he was at the time, hell no.
To take it back, Keeg, is there anything else? Is that all you have on your Cowboys?
Yeah, that's it.
All right, I'll keep my shit super short and sweet because.
Can I ask one question? So you guys picked up. What do you think about the Eberflus hire as your defensive coordinator? Because he had a defense that was top. He had a defense that was top 5. Going into the next year, he went over to try to help out with the offense. That was going to be the staple of that team with Caleb Williams. All of a sudden, the defense falls off. Terrible offensive line with the Bears, and then the season just broke down for them. Everyone didn't think that they would be at the bottom.
Chicago had the 13th best defense this year, so that's not too bad.
That's not too bad. Yeah, going from 5, it was like 4 or 5 the year before.
Yeah,
but he it kind of fell off because he kind of put his nose into the offense. So, what do you feel about Eberflus as a defensive coordinator?
I think they'll have a better defense than they did this past year.
With
Not
Zimmer?
like yeah, like no knocks on Zimmer, but I mean
there's no
they
knocks. I just
they, they were like missing a lot of pieces like throughout the whole season on that defense. But I do think like and not agreeing with Adam entirely, but I do think there's times when you do want to put Parsons back like as an off-ball linebacker, and have him, sit back. He doesn't need to be rushing the quarterback.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
he could be effective
all
back there, but he's so valuable rushing the quarterback. You can't just stick him back there all the time.
Yeah, no, I mean, on like if it's a third down, I want him rushing the quarterback, you know,
100%.
every time. But first and 10, have him drop back and into coverage and so I don't know if Eberflus is going to do that, but I think it'll be an upgrade from what they had last year without like looking
yeah, I
too
think a
much at
little bit more refreshed, newer
Well, he'll
ideas
be able to
than
just
yeah.
focus on playing
old
defense.
school.
I think he was a little over his skis being a head coach. That's what I think.
Hmm.
He'll be able to focus on being a
just
defensive coordinator.
just a little side note. It's really funny how ex Parcells coaches are super old and have really young girlfriends. Just saying, Zimmer, Belichick. Just saying. We can move on.
Yeah, I'll talk about the
The
Bengals real
OG
quick because I'm
homies.
sure Chad's like fucking ready, bro. Fucking look at him over there. Um, Bengals, we salvaged the season to a degree, came back and ended up having a winning season, but we didn't make it in. We needed help, we didn't get it. So the big question mark in the offseason is going to be like a few players that we retain. I do think we retain Trey Hendrickson, which is dope, and I do think we're going to get him on like a short deal. The big thing is going to be T. Higgins. So the reason why I wouldn't be upset if we retain T. Higgins is simply this. We have made it to AFC championships and a Super Bowl, narrowly losing that Super Bowl and narrowly losing that one AFC championship game with two terrible offensive lines. The one with the Super Bowl, we brought it to the brink and almost won it with the 28th worst offensive line. Do I fear for Burrow's health? Absolutely. You have no idea. I watch these games, dude. If he goes down into a pile, I just fucking clench my whole body, hoping that he comes up like not broken in half or something or whatever. But everyone's like offensive line, offensive line. We got a Marius Mims who's a monster, as a rookie. I like our tackles. I like our center. We can go out in free agency and just get some guards. I am not scared to re-sign T. Higgins and Jamar Chase because I feel like if Burrow, Chase, and Higgins are healthy, we will fucking score on absolutely any team in the league. I really believe that. And we've proven that we could score consistently on almost any team in the league. The biggest thing is we got to shore up the front seven. I want us to draft and pick up defensive linemen. I think we need one more defensive end that can stop the run and maybe give a little bit of pass rush across from Trey Hendrickson. And then we just need to get some hogs. I'd like us to draft a hog in our first round. There's a couple guys I like Walter Nolan. I like the nose tackle from Michigan there, Grant, and I like Tyleek Williams. I don't think we signed BJ Hill. I think he hits free agency. But I would like to keep him for the right deal. But we got Chris Jenkins, who played well on and off as a rookie because he was hurt. But whether we just bring in a nose tackle and play the second year D tackle and a rookie nose tackle, and then bring in a veteran just to spell them and stuff like that, I'm cool with that. Maybe get another corner. I think if we could just get a corner, shore up the D line, we're going to be right back in the mix, and every single fucking team is going to be scared of us, and don't fucking act like y'all ain't. And that's all I got for the Bengals. Chad ran away. I don't know where he went.
Well, okay. So I got just a couple questions You got a new defensive coordinator, a new old rehired defensive coordinator. What do you feel about that?
I kind of don't like the fact that we got rid of Lou Anarumo. I think that's going to be a mistake because he took a lot of really good young players over the last handful of years and really turned kids that no one thought were going to be good players into really good players. I think the biggest issue was we were so bad up front. And when you're that bad up front defending the run and you have no real toughness up there, it really makes it so your defense doesn't flow as well as it does, and guys are actually thinking about and are tasked to do a lot more. Corners have to come up and attack and play more run, and the safeties have to pinch inside to stop like a lot of those inside zone plays and stuff like that. And I think that when you're weak against the run defensively, you still win football games. And obviously, we salvaged our season to a degree, and we were in an opportunity to get in. But I think that if you don't have toughness and you're not aggressive on defense and you're not strong in your front seven, I think it bleeds into the rest of the team. And I definitely think the defense was just disheveled at times. I don't think that was fully Lou Anarumo's fault. I think we were just that bad inside up front the whole year. Like, dude, we had games we scored 38 points and we literally would give up 200 something yards on the ground and fucking still lose by 40. It's like, so we need just a little, what we need is we need to bolster that defensive line and bring just some continuity and just be consistent on defense. Fucking do the simple shit. Tackle. Know where you're supposed to be, things of that nature. I think we still could have done that with Lou Anarumo, and I liked him. And the year we went to the Super Bowl, we had like the 9th best defense in the league. Like, you don't got to be number one, but you can't be bad. So I'm interested to see what this guy can bring back here as the defensive coordinator. He wasn't the defensive coordinator before. He was a linebackers coach before. But a lot of the players really like him and respect him and wish he would have never have gone. And correct me if I'm wrong, he was a defensive coordinator for Notre Dame, right? Past couple of years.
Yeah.
And they had one of the best defenses. So, I mean, I'm cool with it. I believe in our young players. I love all of our young defensive backs. They just need time to play together and gel. So if we could keep our veterans, especially if we can get BJ Hill back on a short deal, that would be huge because he's so versatile and brings a level of like leadership up front and energy that I love. And that way you could still draft a D tackle, preferably a nose tackle. I want a dude who's like 6'6", 330 pounds. You put that dude in the fucking A gap or, wherever the hell you want to line him up, 3 technique A gap. I don't care. And you just tell him to fucking get upfield and just fucking plug. That's what I want.
Who's your boy that was there for years that you guys had?
DJ Reader?
No. Who was there during the Zimmer days? The Zimmer loved.
Geno Atkins?
Yeah, Atkins.
Yeah,
he loved Atkins.
Yeah, Atkins.
He would have had Atkins, baby.
Tackle.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's what it is.
You need one of them dogs.
I really think that we have the talent to be special on defense. It's really about consistency and being tough up front, and we fucking lack that, and it makes it so everything else is harder. Our corners,
I'm gonna
got to be a little consistent though. Like Cam Taylor-Britt shows flashes of being like one of the best corners in the league, and then there's games where he's absolutely awful. So it's like you got to be consistent.
So I'm gonna ask like a 2-part question. So Hendrickson was like, "Yo, listen, if you guys aren't gonna get your act together, I want the fuck out of here. Like, I'm not gonna sign no deal or whatever like that." And I guess they came to an agreement, and obviously he wants to stay there because he believes in the team. Obviously, everyone believes in the offense. The offense can they basically carried that team almost into the playoffs. I mean, which is fucking it's not nuts. It's just
like I get it, we have weapons and shit, but like on a losing team, we could have given up and not gotten back to over 500. Dude, Burrow was a fucking animal, bro. Just fucking the leadership, that getting hit and getting back up and just being so efficient and being intelligent and just never not believing in himself. And like I get it. We have two of the best wide receivers in the league. I get it. But Burrow's just a fucking beast, bro.
I do want to ask you a question about that, about Burrow and the receivers, but I want to do this 2-part question and I'll get back to that. So Hendrickson, like he wants them to build the defense up. Obviously, he knows he's with a team that does not spend money. Obviously, they never renamed the fucking stadium until this year to get some money off the naming rights. But what I'm saying is Hendrickson calls them out and is like, yo, listen, I'm not going to stay around here if you ain't going to build no defense. Like, if there's going to be an offensive team, yo, I want out. So they come a new deal. Obviously, they talked with him. It was like, yo, we're going to build this team. What is your feelings on you've got an elite, like, safety. You got elite players.
Well, we don't have
you guys got
anymore.
To a Super Bowl. Right, but you had Jesse Bates, elite, and it's like, no. We're gonna kind of like shortcut these dudes, and it's like you can't get those dudes. Like you can't turn around and just get those dudes. You know what I mean?
Right.
You can have a great scouting staff, but what I guess what I'm saying is, who dropped out?
I'll say this.
You guys still hear me?
Keegan. Yeah, it was Keegan. I'll say this.
Okay.
I agree with you. You got to fucking spend, and it's been the bane of my existence as a Bengals player. We just don't do it a lot. The fact that Burrow got his contract, Burrow should be fucking counting his blessings. It depends on the position still. Like, I love Jesse
But he
Bates.
deserves it. He's
He did.
Let's be honest. This motherfucker did not get into the playoffs. But you're telling me he's not the best quarterback? Even in the AFC?
Yeah,
I don't give a shit what Lamar did. And not to be rude to that motherfucker was slinging darts.
You could call me biased. You can call me biased all you want. He's the best pure quarterback in the league. Like, I'm talking like in the pocket, dissected the plays, feeling pressure, the accuracy, the anticipatory throwing. He's got a good enough arm. He can make every throw. In my opinion, he's the best pocket passing quarterback in the league.
Let's be honest. We've sat here and saw playoff games where Aaron Rodgers was throwing darts. And we were like, yo, this is the best quarterback in the league. Outside of Super Bowls, whatever. I'm sorry. That motherfucking Burrow was throwing some darts this year. This team was scoring 34, fucking 45 fucking points. And it's just like, this dude. This dude is fucking going at it. And
to go back to what you're saying, and then we can wrap it up. So for me, because I didn't want to take too long with my team, because I really think the path to salvation super fucking simple with my team. But to answer your question, I 100% agree with you. We've been boys for how long, and we agree a lot of stuff on football. I really agree that you got to fucking spend, and my team doesn't do it. But in terms of Jesse Bates, he deserved to get paid. But that's what the free agency's for, and he went and got paid. But guess what?
Yeah.
I love Jesse Bates. He's one of my favorite Bengals ever. But guess what Jesse Bates is going to be doing the rest of his career with Atlanta? Not doing shit. So if winning mattered to Jesse Bates,
not getting to the playoffs.
Yeah, if winning mattered to Jesse Bates, he would have taken a little bit less and he would have stayed with us. But he didn't. He took the most he could, and he went to Atlanta. Now, Burrow's been paid. We should pay Trey.
I agree.
We should pay Trey 2-3 year more. He's 28. 2-3 year deal for Trey. We got to pay Jamar, and I'm not scared to play T. As long as Burrow's healthy, ain't no one stopping those three, dude. And then we got our young running back on a rookie contract who quietly was one of the better running backs in the league this year. And he didn't start getting full carries until like week 5. They were still trotting fucking Zach Moss's unathletic ass out there and giving him fucking touches. Like, the dude's not explosive at all. They're giving him touches. It's like, give the ball to the young buck, bro.
I have the same comments about my team. I have the same
Right.
comments about my team.
So
Fucking
in
fucking
closing,
these dudes out here
closing,
like,
we need to play Trey, bolster the D line, pay our weapons, and that's it. And we'll be right back in the mix. Let me tell you something. We had a lot of issues this year. You see how good that offense played? That offense, you ain't seen nothing yet.
almost
All
basically
these dudes are young.
Walked your way into the playoff.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
All these dudes are young. Burrow's 27, Jamar's 24, T's 26. Like, you ain't seen shit yet. We got.
And Burrow was slinging it.
Yeah. So yeah. And a side note, I'd like if we could get a tight end for the right play. You know, I'd love to see us trade for. I would take a second round, third round pick, throw it to Kyle Pitts, dude. Come on over from Atlanta. We would be fucking deadly if we got to do like that with our players.
Yo, what is it? That elite tight end in the first round.
Dude.
Yo,
well, yeah, we could, but he's
you guys
not.
make something happen.
I like Warren from Penn State, but he ain't.
I think he's good. I think he's really good.
He's not going to make it to us, but
right,
Chad.
Right,
your Bills. What do you want him to do this offseason? Thank you for waiting patiently and quietly, Chad.
Oh.
Yeah. He's very, very patient.
He's like, I'm about to fucking shit on all of you.
No. I don't know. What I would really like to see, like, which is kind of like, I think it'd be kind of more random and kind of far off, is I would love to see an actual offensive coordinator come into the Bills. Like, coaching tree. It'd be great. We've been doing nothing but, like, QB coaches the past 3-4 years after we left Dable. And it's like, they do well. I like what Joe Brady did this year, but I feel like it could have gone a lot better play calling in the last game against KC. And I feel like the same thing happened last year.
I think that's why you guys lost.
The year before. The year before, like, I think play calling was like it's way too simple and
I gotta pee.
Like obvious, and you can see everything kind of coming. Where if you have a better offensive coordinator, he can set something up better. And I know everything's been in house, and they haven't had to shop outside, and it's been the same scheme for Josh Allen basically this whole time. But with a quarterback like Josh Allen, if the offensive coordinator comes in, it's gonna stay a similar scheme with a little bit of better nuances and like things thrown in there, so people can't just guess your scheme right away. I don't know. That's what I would really like to see, which I don't think it's gonna happen unless he gets a coaching job somewhere else. I don't see him getting a head coaching job, so I'm not too worried about that right now. I mean, it'd be great to get another. I don't know, like a better, like a nice wide receiver, maybe in free agency or depending.
Stephon Diggs is a free agent.
Yeah, right. Bring it back in, make it even more toxic than it was before. I don't know. There is some good wide receivers out there. I mean, I don't think we don't have the money to swing a Cooper Kupp or anything like that, but it'd be kind of neat to see if something like that could happen, or maybe pick something like in the draft, like second round, because we're picking them up pretty late in the first. So maybe some bigger defensive linemen, something to stack up there. So our offense was good this year, but I felt like the D line kind of didn't get the pressures at certain times of the year when they needed to. But need to replace Von Miller, because I hope they don't sign him again, because he's definitely old and aging. Surprised he played his whole contract out.
That's Adam's favorite Bill.
I liked how Allen played this year total. So, and I think with the weapons we had, it was fine. But I feel like our running backs were good too. So I don't think we need running backs in the draft or free agency, because Ray Davis played very well. James Cook's played good again this year, and prove that he is the number one. And I mean, I think he had the most touchdowns, like rushing touchdowns this year, up until like I think he might have tied it within the postseason too. Whatever it was like 19 or something, which is kind of crazy. I don't know. I don't know all the people who are leaving free agency wise. I haven't really dug that deep down. It's only been a couple weeks, but we just gotta get a better wide receiver core too. I think we just need to bolster it up. I don't think we're keeping Amari Cooper. I think that was a one and done. Hopefully, Keon Coleman can come into himself and maybe just pick something up in the second round. But maybe we go also lineman there too or something to kind of bolster that up a little bit too. I don't know. Do you guys see any holes that the Bills might have? Because I mean, it's hard to.
I do.
Yeah.
I think
Don't worry, baby. I got you, baby.
corner.
I got you.
I think corner. I do think.
You're losing
I think
Rajoul
I think-
Douglas and
I think-
Amari Cooper.
Okay, I think corner. I think I like Hamlin, not to be rude, but like he's been exposed a little bit, so I really do think maybe like a really
Breaking
good corner.
news.
Also, I do think the way they used Coleman was really good, but you really need an outside X receiver. But the way I would do it is instead of going into because it costs money in free agency, look there. But I would like for them to go get one in the draft because it seems to work for Buffalo. Because when they brought Coleman in, they were like, "Oh, well, Coleman's not that fast," and blah blah blah. But they worked him right in until he got hurt, and I was like, "Oh, that's like it tended to be a better addition than what people were saying." They were like, "Oh, this doesn't look like it fits," but he was kind of a guy that was like, "Hey, listen, like, yeah, he was kind of a different dude the way he talked, but he was like, but yo, listen, I come out here, I play, I get after it. So like, don't worry about the speed on the field. Hey, I go get balls, I fucking battle, and that's what he did
Dude.
until he
Just
got
wanted to
hurt.
sit around.
But I think they need an outside. Go get him receiver. Listen, we know Amari Cooper. That motherfucker will bail on you. Like
Don't
when he
get me
gets tough, that
going.
motherfucker
He's
bail.
trying to get me
But
going.
yeah.
Do it.
Don't let Evan go on because he knows that motherfucker will bail on you. Listen, let him walk. Yeah, listen.
Keegan
They made a
knows.
run. They took a chance, and it's not a bad chance. He was playing okay in with the Browns. He got a good receiver or a good quarterback, and guess what? He just played okay. Let him walk. Go get you someone in the draft. I would not be mad if Buffalo grabbed a wide receiver with their first pick. I would not be mad with that.
Me neither, or cornerback. I was thinking same.
But they need a pass rusher. Von Miller, he's cooked.
Yeah.
And I don't know what he's doing, but he's another one out here fucking beating down women and whatever the fucking bullshit. And he's older than the two. You know he is. You got to get a pass rusher, but I believe a wide receiver, pass rusher, and you need a corner. You need to go get him corner. That's where I think your needs are. But the way this team is constructed and the way that McDermott does the defense, I like this team still. But I just think they need a real playmaker out on the edge at wide receiver.
Teams.
Every team could use a lot of players, but I think the little pick 'em stuff, yo, outside, fucking go get a wide receiver. That's what they need out there.
A
Let
lot
that dude
of
toss that shit up.
a lot of people too that I hated about the season, and he's not here to defend himself, but Adam. If you remember last year, Adam was fucking swearing up and down that the Bills weren't going to be fucking shit this year and they were going to be fucking garbage and stuff. And he's like acting like dude, it used to, I think he does it on purpose, but it was fucking driving me nuts when he's trying to say the Bills lost this, the Bills lost that. You can't even name me the players. You don't know all the good players on the roster. It's like you're just talking. Like, and everyone's like, Josh Allen. Oh, Adam said the same shit. Josh Allen's not going to be good when Diggs is gone. Watch. One of the best quarterbacks in the league this year with a bunch of guys playing role player roles. So they were designed to literally run and spread the pill all over the place to a bunch of different targets. And I agree with Anton. It's important to have a true X wide receiver who not only can run the route tree, but is also physical. Because people don't understand about there are pivotal moments in football games where you need to dial up a play that puts your best football player at any point of attack that you construct to bump and grind and actually truly play some physical football. And when it comes to throwing the ball, I always use this example. Lamar Jackson is amazing. I'm a firm believer Lamar Jackson is truly one of the best quarterbacks we've had in this recent set and era generation of quarterbacks. That team will never win a Super Bowl right now because they do not have a true number one guy that's a physical presence on the boundary of the field that can make a play. Zay Flowers is an amazing player. And he's going to fill the stat sheet up. He could stretch the field. He could catch a ball underneath. Great route runner. Can do all these things. But if the game's on the line and you got to throw the ball into double coverage, or if you got to throw a back shoulder fade to the end zone, you need a dude to be a grown man and go up and get it. Certain players just don't have the physical tools and the ball skills to go do that, especially when they're small. So I will give Bateman credit. Bateman has stepped up, and he had a lot of touchdowns this year. I've always thought Bateman's just going to be this fledgling player, and he has been most of his career injured and stuff, and I'm still not sold on him. The only tiny dude I've ever seen in this league be a true knockdown, drag-out X, no fucks given, go
ahead,
on the
say
ball,
it.
Steve fucking Smith, dude.
Carolina Panthers.
5'9",
Let's
180
go.
pounds.
Come
one of
on
my
now.
favorite players. One of the only small dudes where you could drop back and go, oh, Steve, oh, that's the matchup. I don't give a fuck who it is. I'm throwing to fucking Steve Smith. And he's
And that
going to attack
motherfucker
the
will
ball
fight you.
and fight you and go
you.
get it. There's not a lot of guys that size that have that skill set, the route running, the physicality to go up and get the ball, the anticipation. You need a bigger body X most of the time. And there's a lot of teams that lack that. I think Buffalo lacks it. In, like, for example, T plays the Y for us, but T's going to go to another team if he leaves us, and he's going to be the X there and be dominant. We just happen to have Jamar. And I don't mean, like, big as in, like, you got to be large, but you have to be physical. There's specific situations where you dial a play up, and not only do you got to be accurate, and you got to get the right play call and the right matchup, you got to be able to trust that guy to physically be able to beat dudes. You got to have that presence through the air. And it could be a tight end. It could be, there's not a super lot of tight ends like that. But it could be a tight end. But I think that there's a lot of teams that lack that. I think Buffalo's one. I do think that Baltimore is one. I think that's what holds Baltimore back. If Baltimore had a true, like, elite X, they'd probably have won a Super Bowl at least once. I believe that. Well, at least they've won Super Bowls. But, I mean, with Lamar Jackson, they probably would have won a Super Bowl. If they would have had, like, a fucking, I don't fucking know, you name a fucking elite wide receiver. If they had one of those guys, they would have been good. So I do agree with Anton. Now, that doesn't mean there isn't someone on your team that couldn't be. People shit on Keon Coleman, but he was in a
I
group
think
of
he can give you that.
guys. Keon, he needs to get a lot better with his actual route running because if your X needs to be expected to run all the routes, unless your guy is so dominant physically, like a Mike Evans, where 6'5", 230, even though he's not asked to run intricate routes, he's just so dominant physically and is so good at catching the ball. But Keon Coleman could possibly be one of those guys. People act like I hear a lot of people act like he's a fucking bust, but he played this year for a Bills team that
Played really well.
they purposely spread the ball around. He graded out well, and a team where you're dishing the pill to fucking 30 different dudes a game, he still had pretty good stats. I'll pull it up.
I mean, they actually lied and said we're going to use him as X on the outside, even without his lack of speed. And then they turned around and didn't really do that with him. It was a complete fucking phony lie, which I was like, oh, great for the Bills. I mean, allow teams to think that you're going to use him in a certain way, and you don't. But he actually was a good player. I just think, listen, and actually kind of agree with Chad. You know how Cohen went from Tampa Bay, their offensive coordinator, and all their dudes were going down, but he was flipping the players and still making shit happen, still getting them dubs. So what he did is a player that was exceptional for him and always put him in good position was Godwin. He always put him in the slot, put him on the outside, even put him at tight end positions, all that other stuff. I agree with Chad. Maybe you need an offense coordinator that's going to mix some stuff up. Yo, put Coleman in the slot. Put Coleman because he's big and he works as a tight end.
Let me get this straight,
I think you should get a maybe look at an offense coordinator.
Let me get this straight, though. Who's been your offensive coordinator?
Brady.
Who?
He was the quarterback coach. Yeah, he was the quarterback coach. I think he's been with the Bills for a while.
See, the hard part though is if you're a team that really wants a really good offensive coordinator, the hard part is most of the good franchises know that you either need to get a really good offensive coordinator or that offensive coordinator ends up needing to be your head coach. That they're hard to find, the really good young ones. They all get sucked up for head coaching jobs.
But Allen loves Joe Brady.
Yeah.
Remember they had what's his name, who was a quarterback at Miami, but then went to the Browns, and the Browns released him. What was his name? Who's the offense coordinator before Brady?
I know he got released. I can't think of his name.
Remember, he was a quarterback at Miami. He was
the quarterback coach. He was the quarterback coach before Joe Brady was the quarterback coach. Joe Brady moved up jumped into the quarterback coach position. I think he was working with some other position relative to it.
Remember, it was Dayball. Dayball left. They bumped up what's his name to the offensive coordinator. Yeah, they dumped him, and then Joe Brady came in. So I get it. You need someone a little bit more creative with the players that they have. Because Coleman, yes, lack of speed, but you can put him in all these different positions and use him as a valuable player. He's just not an X. He just doesn't have the speed for it. He doesn't set up himself as the X. Now, you want to do jump balls in the corner, you're on the 20-yard line or the 15-yard line, you want to throw it into the corner, that's your boy Coleman. Or you want to put him in space.
I think he's more
he's a good
cornerback over the middle. That motherfucker will get it.
I think he's more versatile.
No, I think so too.
The only thing that holds him
you
back
need some
speed. He's not the fastest guy.
I think, yeah, but I think you need someone who's creative to develop him. But I also think you need to go out and get you an X receiver. That's what I think.
Listen, you
Because
need to go out and get
they,
Darius Slayton. He's a free agent. Pick him up.
uh,
Darius
I tell
Slayton.
I tried telling him Stefan's a free agent this year. They could,
I
Yeah,
think
bring in
Stephon Diggs.
bring
I
in
think
Diggs.
Boys in
Stephon
the well.
Diggs. I think Stephon Diggs signs with the Giants. That's what I think. No, I'm dead serious. I'll give you a little hot stove. That's my prediction and my thing for Stephon Diggs is that he goes to the Giants.
So,
And dude, he's gonna be fucking pissed off. It's gonna be great. And he's a good player. I think that's where he's gonna go. People forget he missed like over half the season this year. He still had good numbers. So Chad,
Talking about
if
coaches,
he, I'll just do a one-sided bet. If he signs with the Giants, Stephon Diggs, you got a beer coming from me at Chubby.
okay.
You got a beer,
Okay.
whatever you want.
Well, I'm gonna do that video probably.
That's as cheap.
tomorrow or the
That's as
next day.
cheap enough. You know I don't do bets, but that's a cheaper. Yo, it's a one-sided. I'll do it. You got a beer coming
Gotcha.
to you. If
Chad.
Stephon Diggs is with the Giants, I'll eat the crow.
Chad,
You got a beer
what else do you got before I get to like the final little segment where I'm going to ask you guys a few things and then we'll wrap it up? Oh no, we gotta
you don't wanna-
you don't ask about my Vikings?
we gotta ask Anton about the Vikings. So what do you got, Chad?
I'll keep it quick and short.
Honestly, nothing else. I think I still would like to see a new offensive coordinator. Just something to shake it up a little bit, so we're not like super obvious of what we're kind of playing towards, or what we're trying to put towards, or maybe if he makes up a new scheme, that'd be cool too.
Gotcha.
Like, because I feel like Keon Coleman wasn't used well enough. Like he was used sparingly, and I think it's because he got hurt and didn't have chances to get kind of acclimated into the offense in a sense. And also, like with everything mixing up, I think people forgot how good Shakir was as well.
Yeah,
Like,
he
'cause they
didn't do as well
pass
as
the
I
ball
thought
around.
he was gonna do, but he was still pretty good. He was my sleeper in fantasy, and I told everyone he was gonna win my leagues for me. He didn't do what I thought he was gonna do, but he's still really good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he did.
He did
a
good.
lot of
He did well with his opportunities he had. He didn't get as much
I
as
Yeah.
really
passing the
secretly.
ball towards him.
This is what I was with it. I literally thought Khalil Shakir this year was going to be like a 1,310 touchdown guy. That's what I was banking on. I'm like, Khalil Shakir's taking me to the promised land, win all my leagues and all this shit. But
Yo, listen. If they can get that quality X, I think with Keon Coleman and Shakir, man, that's a solid
yeah,
fucking
and
group.
with the tight
And
ends,
then you got
and the running
Whatever
Kincaid
backs.
that X
and-
is, that's a solid group.
All right, Todd.
They just Okay, I'm gonna keep it- I'm gonna keep
give it to us, Todd. Give it to us.
sweet and simple. So let's start off from the top. The quarterback. We gotta let Sam Darnold walk.
Ooh.
But listen, he played himself into a contract. But then when the game showed up that he needed to play well, he failed. Now, not all his fault. We got some terrible interior line issues. But it's okay. Like letting him walk opens up a ton of cap space for us. And we drafted the quarterback that we want. And if JJ McCarthy is not ready to go, we have Daniel Jones. Someone in this group likes Daniel Jones, so we got Daniel Jones to lead the way. But I think that's okay. But O'Connell himself said in the final press conference when they lost the playoff game was like,
He was like,
hey, listen,
"That's
I
my
love the
quarterback."
journey that we've been on with Sam. And you know what? I will always hold this as a really high memory in my heart. It's a breakup letter. He's done with him. They're done. Sam Darnold is on the outs. He's gone. Bye. So I think listen, they viewed McCarthy as a better running uh, um, Kirk Cousins. That's how they viewed McCarthy. They said, "Oh, it's Kirk Cousins, but he just runs a lot better than him." They're really high on him. They really want to go with McCarthy. The only negative is they said he lost quite a bit of weight going through, and it was just a knee procedure. It wasn't like a full MCL or ACL tear. It was just a knee clean out. He could survive. He did lose. They said he lost about 20 pounds, but he's movable in the pocket. He can make the throws. When you saw him at Michigan, he doesn't turn the football over. He can run the football. I think even if he's the poor man's Sam Darnold, it's 28 touchdowns, 7, 8 interceptions. It's not fucking crazy, but it's not fucking massive. But in a first full year with the weapons that he has is great. This is what we need. We need another running back. We need especially guard to guard and center. We need to revamp that motherfucker. And Ingram he's terrible. Bradbury gets blown up all the time. That's our center. He's done.
Blown
Reisner,
up
he was
is
a
such
fix.
a funny
He's
term,
out of
isn't
there.
it? When the old lineman gets blown up, it might be the funniest thing ever.
Yo, he was as a center. He was getting blown up in the joint practices. Cooked. You're out of here. We could really use some high end, like some really young defensive tackles. We got the edges. We got Dallas Turner. Dallas Turner needs to turn it up a little bit. He's been kind of quiet. They've been using him kind of low. Greenyard has been really good.
Is it Grenard or Greenyard?
All of our cornerbacks. Greenyard. Yo, give me fucking sacks and create chaos. I don't give a shit. So on the free agent cap, all our cornerbacks, free agents. So that's always been a problem with us. Either you're going to sign Byron Murphy, sign him up. He did play pretty good. Blackman is coming back. He tore ACL, but you're going to need to sign cornerbacks. Whether you go into the draft and get a cornerback or do free agency, offensive line and cornerbacks got to be your main priority. Also, a main priority, Harrison Smith. You can't keep signing him to these short deals and having him revamp his contract. Listen, he's too old. Either you go into the draft and go get you a safety outside of Cam Bynum, or you cut him loose. I don't know what you're going to do. You can't keep, the dude is old as Methuselah. I mean, like, he's still playing good,
Dude,
but like
36.
when the
He's
shit
still
drops
grading
off,
out well, though.
Right, but at some point you gotta
yeah, for sure.
You gotta get someone else in the mix.
He's looking old.
Like they just have not done it in a minute. Right. So they did so we have low draft capital because we went and got McCarthy and we got Dallas Turner. And that's the thing. If you're gonna do all the draft capital, McCarthy gotta get in there. Dallas Turner's gotta turn it up. Like, no pun intended, but gotta turn it up. Got to get the turntable moving. Let's go, Turner. Let's go. Tina Turner, let's do this. Like, get them nice legs shaking. We got to do something. So,
I gotta get going, but good talking with y'all.
Later, Keeg. I'll hit you up. I'm gonna remind me. I gotta send you photos of all the snow that's piled up behind my place.
Oh yeah, all right. I'll take a look at it.
I literally have like 10 feet high piles of snow behind my house.
Jesus.
So
that's too much.
I'll take photos of it and I'll send it to you.
All right. Well, I'll talk with y'all later.
Later, buddy.
Yep.
Peace.
All right, later.
So Anton, what if they re-sign Kirk Cousins? He's available.
Nope. No,
Yeah,
Both
no,
last round.
I'm
no, it's
interested to
not.
see
No,
what happens because one thing
no,
that's
because our yes, go ahead.
one
Our
thing
cap space has exploded because we let Kirk Cousins walk.
yeah,
That is one good
one
thing
thing I
about
can
it.
say is you cannot replace okay. You don't want to lose the production that you just got out of Sam Darnold. It allowed you to win like what 14 fucking games.
But here's the thing, and not outside of Sam Darnold, but I think really this is the core of it. Sam Darnold failed at the end because we played good teams, and our interior offensive line was terrible. And I always go back to this other point. I I love Brian Flores, and they're running this chaotic defense. But two teams that are kind of our nemesis that beat us late in the season and in the postseason, or set us up for a good postseason, you ran the same shit. And they figured it out the first game and they smacked us up on the second game. And we're talking about the Rams in Detroit. Goff got us in the first game. In the game that wasn't a playoff game, but was the last game of the season to win that number one seed, Goff diced us up. Running the same shit. Turn around, Stafford on a Thursday night game cooked us. I mean, cooked us. Turn around in the playoff game, got our number again. Running the same shit. And what really burned us in the postseason or in the games to set up playoff games in the postseason, the interior offensive line was absolutely atrocious. Atrocious. Not to mention that our all pro left tackle went down, Darisaw. And then we got to fix some Cam Robinson that was actually, by the PFF numbers, was
decent.
the worst left tackle, starting left tackle. And so by the numbers, he was the worst left tackle to allow the most amount of pressures on the left tackle spot. But it was a better fix than nothing.
Yeah.
And our interior offensive line is Ed Ingram, who is the worst. Bradbury, who gets blown up all the time, and Dalton Reisner, who we picked up from
The Broncos.
the Broncos, who actually retired, and we got him to come back, and then he turned around and like he's okay, but he's not the fix. So our interior offensive line is god awful, and it's nothing. That's not to Sam Darnold, but again, we drafted the future. If you keep if we put Sam Darnold on like another 3-year deal, guess what? We don't take advantage of the JJ McCarthy years where we get the young quarterback at the young quarterback deal. We're back to the old shit where we got Kirk Cousins. We're paying a quarterback. We got a young quarterback. When the young quarterback comes around, we start him and he plays good. Now we got to pay him. Listen, fuck all that shit. Let Sam Darnold walk. He's good. But you drafted the quarterback that you wanted. Let's roll with him. Build the offensive line. You got the quarterback on the rookie deal. Guess what? Make sure you get cornerbacks and do the other shit. And tell fucking Flores, listen, it's okay to mix up the defense a little bit. Don't run the same shit, because the quarterbacks that not only are in our division or that we see in the playoffs can figure out your fucking game. And when you run into chaos, guess what? they're slinging the pill all over the goddamn place. And I think that's a combo deal, or I'll say it like this: it's a combo meal. Bad offensive line. They see the defense that they see all the time. Combo meal. We got both of them. Oh, and when we're going into the draft, we need offensive line. If you don't get it in free agency. We need a go-to running back. I'm sorry, but what's his name that we got?
Madison.
It's hurt. No, it's not Madison.
Jones
we cut
was
him
good
loose.
for you guys this year.
Aaron Jones. Yes, but we need a 3-down, change him up back.
Yeah, there's a Marion Hampton,
and
Keldon Johnson, Dylan Sampson.
Right, and Aaron
Later.
Jones is older than
Keep it trail, buddy.
Aaron Jones is older than too. Yeah.
So this is
Better brother. Aaron Jones is older than the tooth. He's 30 years old. He's like 30, 31 years old.
Right.
Like we gotta it worked good, but like he's getting nicked up here and there. And this is where I'm gonna harken back to what you said about the running backs. We're running Cam Akers back here. The fuck? Like that's a Ram send off. We got this dude. Aaron Jones goes down. We got this dude in the playoffs. We're handing the ball off to him like 3-4 times in a set. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? This dude he ain't that good. That's why the Rams fucking allowed us like gave up. We'll take your fucking 7th, 6th round pick and we'll let you have him like it ain't nothing. He ain't that good. No, you gotta go get you a running back. And Aaron Jones is gonna be listen, I've always said this. Running backs get long in the tooth real fucking quick. You're better off fucking cutting them loose a year early and later than a year late. I don't give a fuck about that shit. Like, we got Aaron Jones for a 1-year deal. I wouldn't be mad if you cut him loose and went to the draft and got you a couple running backs. But here's the ultimate problem. We got minimal draft picks because we used them last year to get Dallas Turner, JJ McCarthy. So, what are your guys' questions, or what do you guys think about my team?
You can go, Chad.
I don't know. I think I wish you guys had an option to keep Sam Darnold there for just a year as a backup. Maybe start him, and then halfway through the year, kind of do just like transfer him over into the JJ McCarthy, depending on how the year goes. But I don't think Sam Darnold's going to take that, even though he only showed this year that he can be good, but he still showed in pressure situations he couldn't handle it. So, I mean, that's what teams look for. If you can't do it in pressure situations, what's getting 12 games going to do for anybody? 12, 13 wins, you know what I mean? But,
yeah.
I mean, yeah, I think definitely JJ McCarthy coming in and being healthy. Is he going to be healthy, like, beginning of the year? Or is he still going to be kind of injured coming in?
I'm not.
Because if he's injured,
it was just
you have to keep someone relevant in there.
So it was a knee clean out. So it's not like an ACL or anything else like that. I think he'll be ready to go even by training camp. So, but the thing is we know with even these minor stuff, they do set you back a little bit. But then remember last year, you got to remember, Sam Darnold and JJ McCarthy was not a guarantee that it was Sam Darnold that was going to win the starting job. McCarthy came in the preseason game, slung it around, looked good, shows up on Monday. Oh, my knee's not feeling good. Oh, MRI, yo, you got a little MCL we got to clean out.
Yeah.
So
but and
it
I do
wasn't a
agree you guys need
guaranteed
some
that
offensive line.
Darnold was starting. Yeah.
Because if you guys would have better offensive line play, Darnold might have been playing well in those last couple games too. Who knows?
So
But
we were, and that was a problem. Even with our record, which is so deceiving, even with Darasol going down, we were still able to hide the deficiencies of the offensive line. That was regular season. When you get into the playoffs or to meaningful games like we did with Detroit, and then we played the Rams again, those
Yeah.
good teams are able to pick you the fuck apart. And then ultimately that was always the problem. It was the interior offensive line that was always the problem. But during the regular season, you could get by that. And the teams that we played. So those good teams with the good coaches exploit that shit. And again, like I said, the Flores defense was so like helter skelter, confuse everyone, but it confuses most people. Not Matthew Stafford, not Jared Goff, with good offensive coordinators that can see that shit and was like, yo, listen, we see an advantage, we take advantage of it. They're going to blitz us, we're going to take losses, but if we can, they're going to expose themselves, we can get the explosive plays out of them. But you need good offensive coordinators and a good quarterback. Those teams that we saw early in the year that beat us and then turn around and we saw them in the play. We saw the same fucking teams in playoff scenarios, if not a playoff game, expose us again. And I think there's two problems: interior offensive line, and I love Flores and what he calls, but we have deficiencies in the secondary, and we also have deficiencies up front. We need D tackles. We need explosive D tackles. But also, he creates a lot of this chaos to kind of cover other things. But if you can get an offensive coordinator and a quarterback that doesn't get rattled, they can expose those deficiencies, and that's what happened. They say the offensive line, but I think a really big part was the way Flores, the same defense against teams that beat us and knew the play calls, knew what was coming, knew the chaos, and was like, we can beat that shit because we got better players on the other side. We can beat that. Yeah, we'll take losses, but we'll take super chunks on the other end.
yeah, I think with you
I
guys'
always
first pick,
felt, I was like, yo, you need better cornerbacks, you need better, lively safeties, and you need to tackle.
I think
Yep.
with you guys' first pick, you guys should go like defensive
Go ahead.
lineman.
I'm-
But because it's so late
You
in the
still there?
draft. Yeah. Can you hear me? Hello.
Can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me? 1 second.
Yeah, I can hear you.
There.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I was me personally, if I'm the Vikings, yeah, you got to bolster the secondary, the interior defensive line, and the interior offensive line. Outside of that, when you think about it, it's not. There's a lot of teams in worse situations. The only thing would stink is the production that you would lose if you either cut Sam Darnold loose, or if you got Sam Darnold back, he didn't produce the same way. I'm just saying, it doesn't matter who the quarterback is. That amount of quarterback play and production losing that level of quarterback play will it'll make it so your team will regress. But
Mhm.
when you think about it, you're trying to bring a rookie up. Like you got to accept the fact that like if you play the rookie, well, it'll be his second year. If you play the young buck, that comes with it. Like you're gonna have speed bumps and all these other things. You know, I highly doubt you guys will be a friggin' 14 win team next year. When you think about it, it's really funny. You guys have had like a little roller coaster lately where you're fucking surprising the league and winning a shit ton of games, or you know, going back down, come back up, going back down. Um, but yeah, secondary, interior defensive line, secondary, interior defensive line, interior offensive line. Where'd Chad go? Can you hear me, Tom?
Yeah, I'm back.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah. So basically, I was just saying that
Yeah.
your team, like you're probably gonna regress because you're gonna have the speed bumps of playing a rookie, which is fine, but you gotta go that direction. Um, bolster your secondary, bolster your interior defense and interior offensive line. There could be worse. You're sitting in a way better spot than a lot of teams, even though like you got to navigate with a new young quarterback. Like all you got to do is go into free agency and get a couple offensive linemen, draft a new D tackle, bolster your secondary. Your team's still going to be competitive. I don't know where Chad went,
And
but
then they never thought like we were picked to be the bottom, and they never thought that because it was JJ McCarthy, Sam Darnold. They didn't have any confidence in Sam Darnold. Also, they like Flores had did kind of kind of funky before, but we're at the bottom. We weren't picked to be at the top, and what we got out of Sam Darnold and what we were able to do, and it was like, okay, we don't have to do a full rebuild. We just got to fix these pieces. Offensive line, interior defensive line, especially cornerback or let's say our secondary. Our secondary is very and with an older Harrison Smith. And again, they try to address those things in previous drafts with Scene and everything else like that, and they had to come loose. But I don't think we're in a terrible position even if we take a step back with a starting young quarterback. I don't think we're in a terrible position, but I'd rather take that knowing we've done that. We've been down the road with correctly with the cap. When we go into this year, we don't have the cap hit. We got all this money. Yo, we can go out. They're looking at interior line in the free agency and filling the gaps through the draft, which I think, hey, listen, Jefferson, you got Addison, you got Hawkinson. We could bring in a running back. Yo, you clear up the offensive line. Yo, we're cooking. Even with JJ. Even if he's like a third, you take away a third of what Darnold did.
yeah, no, I agree. I think if you just shore up those little spots, I think you guys will be competitive. Your guys' division pretty quickly here, in my
That's a
opinion, is
playoff
going to
team still.
become one of
It's
the more
tough.
competitive divisions.
It's tough right now. And again, I was like, man, we could be bottom. Basically with Caleb Williams, with Chicago, their defense. I just didn't. Their offensive line is terrible. They got to fix that. But and then the Packers, they had some injuries to Love throughout the year. Injuries to wide receivers. And that kind of stifled them a little bit. Detroit played well. I mean, Detroit dominated cleared the division out. And that's all you need. I've always said this. Win your division, you're in. Build to beat your division. Then worry about everything else. If you worry about the whole fucking league, that's when it becomes a problem. And that might be the deficiency of the Bills. Win your division. Then go out to go fucking win the league. Sometimes you just need to build to win your division. You win your division, you're always in the playoffs.
So,
and then, yeah.
Well, I was just gonna say, I gotta wrap this thing. I got one quick. Give me a quick synopsis. I got a question for you, and that's how I wanted to end. I don't know where Chad went, but
that's fine.
Give me and briefly explain. Give me one team you think will rise big time next year, and one thing you think will regress big time next year. And give me like a brief description as to why. And this is pre-draft. This is just like we're doing this pre-draft, pre-free agency. Like, what is your sixth sense?
I got this weird feeling that like Washington is going to regress pretty bad. I think they got this really high off of Jaden Daniels, and I'm just being honest. I just keep coming back to this idea. It was like, man, they got this really high note with Jaden Daniels, which is really good. A coach that is kind of like, and their defense was supposedly on paper really bad. And they added Marcus Lattimore. The defense didn't really expand that much. I think they're going to regress a little. Just my feeling. They caught lightning in a bottle.
Who do you think?
I think Washington.
Who do you think's gonna surprise everyone next year?
The Saints. I think the Saints are going to pop a little bit. They got Kellen Moore as offensive, obviously coordinator / coach. With Kubiak, the younger Kubiak, the son, they popped in the beginning of the year. It worked. They just got to be healthy. People said their offensive line was terrible. It was not. It was set up well. They faded so early, injuries, moving people around. They even let go of Marcus Lattimore. They still have Kamara. I think the offensive line is good. I think you can piecemeal the defense. I think in a really porous division, I think they're going to be better. And it's not because they got Kellen Moore. I just think that everything fell apart for them so early. They started off so hot. They beat Dallas. They beat all these teams. And it was just like, well, wait a minute. We're not looking at the Saints. All of a sudden, it all fell apart. Carr went down, and it fell apart. I think he can do some things with Carr. I think he has the running back in Kamara. I think the offensive line is actually kind of good. They just got to stay healthy. I think the Saints can turn that around, and I really think that in that division, to me, the other teams just hang on. Tampa Bay just hung on this year. Atlanta was right behind them, but when they turned to Penix, and it was like, let's be honest, they turned to Penix. It was okay. It wasn't. It was like, oh my god, he's a savior. I hate that. He was okay. Saints could rise up. I like the Saints.
I think the team that will regress is Washington. I agree. I think Washington will regress because it'll well. There's a caveat. It'll depend on how their offseason goes. They have a lot of cap space, so they have the opportunity
Mhm.
with the roster that with all these holes to patch up a lot of these holes and be even better than they were last year. So it'll depend on their offseason. I would say the team that I
Mhm.
think is going to pop. I actually think that the Bears could possibly pop next year. I don't think Caleb Williams was as bad as everyone acts like he was. I just don't think that they had like the right coach and the right continuity on both sides of the ball. They have a lot of talent on both sides of the ball. If they could shore up their defensive woes and bolster that offensive line a little bit, I could see Caleb Williams building on this year and having a sneaky good second year.
That offensive line
Yeah, they got to go
has
out
to
and
make
get
a step
yeah.
up.
They got to go out and spend money on the
They're
offensive line, especially
they
right
try,
now with him on his rookie contract.
yeah, because I was watching games where he only threw for like 113 yards, and I'm like, you take a look back at the game or a little bit of the plays, and I'm like, oh, this offensive line is not good.
Another team I
It's
think
not good.
another team I think could be sneaky next year as long as he's healthy when they get him back. Because I think now with Brian Thomas Jr. and a good offseason, I think Carolina could be back in the mix for their division next year. Or not Carolina, Jacksonville.
No. Jacksonville. Okay.
Yeah, I think Jacksonville
Um,
could be back in the mix for their division next year.
I like the head coach hire, Cohen. He did really good stuff with Tampa Bay. Remember when Mike Williams was down? They turned that tight end into like an elite player. All of a sudden, they get all the weapons back. That tight end becomes nothing. And I'm like, yo, he just makes what he got. Yo, it's like, okay, you want to serve me up a little chicken shit? I can make some chicken salad out of this shit. That motherfucker make this shit work. Cohen makes shit work. Um, I think he might be good for them because it's like they got little pieces on the offense. To me, I really think, yo, you gotta get you a running back. You gotta get you a couple running backs.
Right.
The ETN shit, it's done. Get that, go get you some running backs. The Brian Thomas Jr. shit is good. Mike, I think they need a little workings on the offensive line. I think they kind of piecemeal that shit. I really would like another go-to wide receiver with them. They got good back end players on the defense. Cisco that actually came from Syracuse. They've always tried to build the defensive line. I think that's good. Maybe they can work on the linebackers, but they really need to bring a really good coach in on defense. And with Cohen, I think, let's get some running backs in there. Let's shore up that offensive line. I think it was run really laissez-faire, but I do like the head coach hire. I think that's good. But I really think they need another wide receiver. They need another playmaker, and they need to get some fucking running backs in there. and I mean multiple running backs. I don't like ETN. I think he was good, but like he came off a year when they when was what what's his name in there, and he bring ETN, and then that year he was coming off of ACL, and he actually did play well, but I was just like, no, this is long term, man. You need to solidify this running back. Man. That's just not it. And uh, they overpaid for fucking wide receivers, and it's like that's not how you do it. Go into the draft. Go get you some selective players and work it like that. That's just me with Jacksonville. But I do think the head coach hire is actually a good hire. He knows how to run an offense. He knows when he's got like kind of chicken shit or scrap parts. He knows how to make that shit work. So I think they're good with the head coach hire. Me personally.
That's word. Well,
Yeah.
I appreciate all of you guys coming on, and I appreciate you coming on. It was nice to talk to you for a little while because I just feel like we haven't been talking, we don't fucking talk and hang out as much, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I always love getting you on here for these fucking hot stove, fireside chats, dude. You know what I'm saying? These sports,
Yeah, no,
these
but
sports chats.
So some of us like get married, have these nice, beautiful weddings, and all of a sudden, hey, we kind of drift off and
Yeah.
into other
Oh, so it's
spaces.
it's my fault. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I see how it is.
Yeah, I gotta jab you a
No, I
little
know.
bit, but
Well,
that's okay.
I'm super stoked though because I got some content coming down the wire. My cousin Jake and I are going to be doing a hilarious. We did an episode 3 years ago about watching wrestling as we loved WWE when we were kids, WWF. So we did a whole episode about as a disclaimer, and I'll talk about it in that podcast. When we did that podcast, I had stopped watching wrestling since I was fucking 14 years old. Like I stopped watching that shit
Yeah.
in the early to mid 2000s. Um,
Mhm.
He, contrary to what he'll tell you, kept fucking watching. I'm talking like he knows shit about a lot of the wrestlers today, and I'm like, dude, you fucking sit there and act like you don't watch this shit. You watch this shit. So we did an episode based off what we could remember, but then with like Netflix and these other things, now you can watch it all. I've rewatched everything since then, over again, and so like my opinions now, being in my mid 30s and not, it's a different perspective now that I'm older. And so when I hear that podcast from 3 years ago, my opinions on wrestling and all these wrestlers are so totally different. So we did like our top 15 favorite wrestlers. We did our overrated and underrated wrestlers. And then we did our Mount Rushmore. So we got all these notes and we're going to talk about it. So that'll be a fun episode. I got offensive and defensive free agency predictions coming out, and I'll be doing a couple mock drafts heading into the draft and stuff. And then, once it's all sorted out, the teams and stuff, we can free agency's over with and stuff like that. We can get everyone back on here and kind of break down the teams and their moves and stuff like that and all that happy shit. So, but I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, I mean, just a little side note. If you're looking into conspiracy theory kind of stuff, if you roll towards Erica's man, Alex, he's way into that kind of stuff.
Oh, that's
so,
awesome.
like, if you
I've
want
done
to,
a couple
yeah,
episodes
if you want to,
on conspiracy theories.
yeah. She's kind of floated that to me, and he's into those like podcasts like
deep,
that.
huh?
So, yeah. So, like if you got your boys into that,
Hey,
and, bring him in.
I've got two conspiracy theory episodes. If he ever wanted to come on, we could get all the guys together and go tinfoil hat and just drink and laugh about conspiracy theories.
Oh no, don't worry. He'll drink and he'll laugh, but also he's into those conspiracy theories. So just throwing another person out there into the mix and into our ether with what we do. Like he's a good person to throw in there. But
There you go.
yo, listen, always good to kind of hang out and like talk some shit about some fucking football or sports and listen, it's 2025. Real soon, it's getting World Cup time. So, you know how we like to throw
Bro,
down with
I'm gonna
that.
bring my fucking GoPro when we go to the World Cup, dude. I'm getting fucking footage and content for that shit. I'm also gonna
I'm
be
ready to go on
playing
that.
speedball and some of that XL events coming up, so I'm probably gonna GoPro some of the practices and stuff and throw like some of the
Yo,
game footage up.
I actually denied Chad. He was like, "Yo, we should go out like to Minnesota and watch an NFL game." And I said, "Yo, 2026 coming up. That's World Cup. We can't
Yeah,
do it that year.
we can't do it. We
We're
got
done.
soccer to
Like
watch.
we can't do it. Yo,
All
we
the
got to go.
plebeians can watch their football. We're watching football. But yeah,
The foosball.
but if
Yeah,
if you guys like anyone that watched this episode, if you guys liked it and all that stuff, obviously you guys can see I have my screen up for the thing that says my stream's ending or whatever, but that's my tag, Mr. Nasty Time. You guys can find me on my YouTube channel. Everything's like on there now. And that's where I house everything. Stream video games, some video games on the horizon coming up I want to be streaming and stuff like that. And that's all I got for you guys. So keep an eye out for the content. If you guys like it, please like and subscribe. And Anton and I are out of here.